Who are you? I'm not asking this to send you into a mental spiral. Don't worry. I'm asking this in a genuine manner. Who do you think you are? I don't know who I am. I've done plenty of things to try to figure that out. I've traveled, dated, tried new things, tried old things, rekindled past relationships or hobbies that once brought me joy. But in the end, I'm just as lost as I was before. Now I'm even more confused. I'm not going to go in depth on how I got lost in the first place, but I do think it's important to acknowledge where our issues stem from. I lost myself trying to find other people. I think my happiness was dependent on other people, whether that be their presence or something they provided me. I'm not sure. When I was younger, I think this was the case. So now that I'm 21 and I don't have people around me all the time, I don't know who I am. This is something that I feel like a lot of people in our generation struggle with. Trying to figure out what our purpose is or who we want to be. We're told we can be anything. Or on the opposite side, we're also told exactly who to be by a societal view. Take a look at one of my favorite videos.
I'm getting tired of hearing who I'm supposed to be. How do I be someone I'm not? I'm sick. I wasn't born to live a dying life.
Oftentimes, we're just stuck. We're stuck on who we were and where it went, not who we are and what we could be. This is just as hard to figure out, though. Where do we even start? We can ask all of the successful people around us, but in the end, they didn't live your life. Only you have. Where I'm getting at with this isn't some magical solution to figure out what we truly are. At times, it feels like I'm never going to find out who I am. But I do want to be a voice in any capacity that can express what others are afraid to. To figure out who we can be, we also have to look at what makes us, us. We have to look at not only our mental health or our physical health, but also the personality traits that make up us as a whole. Something that I've struggled with, like a lot of our generation, is overthinking pessimistically. Now, what this means is that I look too far into every little detail, then I make up assumptions in my own head about the worst possible thing that can happen. Then I make myself believe that it will. I acknowledge that I do this, but it doesn't help. I still do it, even with words of validation or a comforting presence. This way of thinking has put strain not only on my mind, body, and health, but also on the mind, body, and health of other people that I care about. Recently, I ended a relationship with someone after begging them to stay. The entire time, I was wearing rose-colored glasses in order to hide the red flags that I knew were there. I painted over them in attempts to ignore it, but I knew what they were. We weren't compatible, and she let me know many times. I fought for us, and she came back many times. In the end, I had to own up to what I knew and stop something that would eventually hurt us both. I let it go on too long, and we did both end up getting hurt. But I was so desperate to prove to myself that I was someone who I could never be. I've tried to find things to help me stop going down this spiral, and some things have eased it and allowed me to come to terms with what's happening inside of my head. There's this amazing man on TikTok named Shep Gold, and he has a clip that was my inspiration for this video. I'll play it now.
Advice on how to stop fearing the worst ending to every situation. Yeah, just stop giving yourself so much credit. Who do you think you are? I'm not being mean, I'm serious. Like, you think you can predict every situation? Doesn't that seem a little, I don't know, full of yourself?
He goes on to say, what do you actually know? Human beings are so limited, yet we give ourselves so much credit. And he's right. We can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen at every given moment, especially when it comes to other people. If we don't know what we are, what makes us think we know who they are? This is a frame of thinking that helped me in some way. It opened my eyes to the possibility of escaping from this horrid thought process. Something else we need to cover if we talk about figuring out who we are is the possibility and acceptability of change. There's a powerful quote that was made popular by American author Mel Robbins. The quote goes like this: "Nothing changes if nothing changes." Hearing this for the first time might come across as a little stupid. If we read it again, though, she's right. She's saying that if we keep wanting to change who we are, we cannot keep living the same way and doing the same things. If you want to figure out who you are, you have to be willing to weed out the experiences that aren't you. In order to feel safe about your choices, you have to know what you don't want. This is something else I've always struggled with, knowing what I want. Going back to when I was a kid, I would spend at least an hour in the Lego section of Target, just not being able to choose which Lego set I wanted. But this isn't about Legos. This is about life. What to eat, what to study, where to live, how to enjoy my free time, how to talk to people. No matter what the circumstance, I have a hard time choosing. Reflectively, a way that this can change is by continuously putting myself in situations where I must choose between two things that both have monumental impacts. It's a hard thing to go through, though, but nothing changes if nothing changes. In this generation, we have access to many things all the time. We always have options, so nothing ever feels concrete. What show to watch, what music to listen to, who to date, what to eat, much, much more. We flood ourselves with options, leaving room for preferences where we can be blinded by what we could have instead of what we should have. Learning for yourself is something that we aren't taught. I wish growing up was a more insightful experience. However, we aren't taught how to live. We're taught how to blend in. Meaning your 20s are a time where you have to figure things out. Access to social media will have you believing that everyone else around you already have it figured out. They post engagements, successes, beauty pictures, and overall flaunting their lifestyle. They're only showing you the highlight reel, though, not the entire game. We become who we are through our experiences, struggles, failures, victories, and much, much more. We can always aim to be someone, but that someone has to be the better version of yourself. It can't be someone else. So I ask you one final time. Who are you? Who do you think you are? After recording that last sentence, I realized it was a strong way to end. So I'm going to tell you guys, if you're watching this at night, good night, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. Get some rest. Make sure you eat. Make sure to drink water. Everything will be answered in time. And both fortunately and unfortunately, time is something that we have. Don't stress about it. Love ya.